Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Den, Athan Leviditis, and Michael Cormelos here with me as always. And before we get started, just wanted to say it has been a year
Yeah, I was
uh,
gonna bring it up. It's
since
crazy.
we started this podcast, and so yeah, just want to say thank you to you guys for the support that we've gotten throughout this journey. This has been an amazing thing for us just to be able to talk Philly sports and interact with you guys. So, yeah, thank you. And let's keep this train rolling.
Yep.
So, to keep it rolling and get right into it, um, we are a little late on this. The
Quite
NFL
late.
included,
3 weeks late.
just a tiny bit. But it is never too late to talk about a draft, especially first round, like the Philadelphia Eagles had. Um, Selecting Devontae Smith with a trade up to the 10th overall pick with the Dallas Cowboys in a stunning move. The selection of Landon Dickerson gets a little dicier as we go through later. Milton Williams, Zach McPherson, Kenneth Gainwell. But just start with general thoughts on the Birds.
I don't know. I expected so much worse. I mean, Landon, at the time it happened, I was kind of iffy, but I mean, he's a really good player. I'll take it, especially because I was surprised Jason Kelsey is coming back. And I mean, he's probably done after this year, so they're saying he's playing left guard over Sumalo. It's fine because he sucks.
Did they
And
actually confirm that?
pretty well, they announced him as a guard, and I know there's no way they're just playing him as a backup to Jason Kelsey because Jason Kelsey's there's a 90%. I mean, he might get hurt.
He'll probably play
God
guard this
forbid.
year and then
Yeah,
move to center.
yeah, that's what I'm guessing. But Milton Williams, I mean, he's a good athlete, but again, classic defensive lineman from middling school. Like Louisiana Tech's not a powerhouse of college football to say the least, but
Yep.
I mean, might as well get the depth because it was bound to happen. Just defensive tackles from random schools, and I mean Zach McPherson. I mean, we should have got a corner earlier, especially with. I think you could have got a defensive tackle with at the place of Milton. Like you could have gotten. I think Melifon was on the board. Maybe Elijah Molden. I think was on the board too. They will slip to the end of third round. Gainwell is cool, I guess. I mean, you don't need him obviously because you have Howard and Scott. But I mean, Howard and Scott obviously aren't going to lead.
Sanders.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm like it's not like he's starting, so I'm just naming the backups. And I mean, he probably could be better than Boston Jordan Howard, but
he is already.
I think.
Yeah, I guess it was just BPA at that point, even though we have much bigger needs than third, fourth string running back. But I'll take Trayvon Grimes as a UDFA. The late round picks are fine. Jacoby Stevens, I guess we needed a safety because let's see. I mean, Anthony Harris is cool, but I mean, I doubt he's coming back after this year, unless you have a ton of. I'm pretty sure you have a ton of money once the Carson dead cap finally is done with.
It's like 20 million in cap space. That's free.
Yeah, and then I mean, Jamie Newman is dumb, but he's pretty terrible.
If it's value, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as a UDFA, it's fine.
There is no value. He's not good.
For a third string.
For a camp arm, why not?
Yeah.
He's basically a camp arm.
Yeah, and it's like it's better than who was our third string last year. It wasn't Josh McCown. It was Sudfeld.
Yeah, Sudfeld.
Yeah, Sudfeld's in San Fran now, so we kind of did need a third quarterback on the roster at least. So, I mean, he's god awful.
I can't wait for the Sudfeld revenge game week 2.
Yeah, of course.
No, I mean, for me, you know, I was obviously thrilled with the Devontae Smith pick. I think despite the size, the spacing that he will be able to provide this Philadelphia Eagles offense and the connection that you can see that he already does have with Jalen Hurts, I think will be incredibly beneficial for this offense, especially in the future. And I think he's the kind of prospect that would have been a number one prospect in another NFL draft if this hadn't been a year of Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle being the generational talents that they are today. But Landon Dickerson, I thought was, you know, a solid, if not, I mean, a reach based on his injury history, and the players available, but a solid pick. I think there is an argument to be made that he is the best center in this class. You can argue Creed Humphrey. You can. I know Ethan will.
No,
but,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I just like Creed, like value wise, but
yeah,
I mean,
had
yeah,
him as a
Landon's
top
probably
10 pick in
better day one.
yeah.
I had Creed Humphrey as the top 10 prospect in my way too early, 2021.
Well, I had Rousseau as a top 10 prospect in my way too early, so I can't.
Well, Greg Rousseau fell under the opt-out curse.
That is
Creed Humphrey actually played and just dropped down the boards for no reason.
That is true. Milton Williams, I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would like slow the roll with the Alabama connection between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Yeah, they have a connection, but they connected 8 times for 160 yards for
they're just
whole
saying
year.
that, but
Smith, I know, but Smith barely had like playing time when he was at Bama. Like the
I
one
just
year they were
rather have some amount of chemistry with considering how much of a
especially with
disastrous team
it works.
Past couple of years,
but,
yeah,
it works. But I'm just saying, don't get too excited about
it.
160 yards.
Yeah, and plus there's like a 50% chance Jalen Hurts is even our quarterback in 2022. So because we're gonna reach Broncos territory of lack of commitment once we go 4-13. So
yeah.
No, I mean
if you're lucky.
if we're really gonna go there, which I really hate to go there 8 minutes into the podcast, as we're talking about how great this draft was. But Spencer Rattler and Sam Howell are both very nice quarterback prospects, and
which will be picked before you guys even have a draft pick next year by
the
Lions and the Raiders. No, you guys will have the 6th pick around. I predict the Raiders and Lions drafting. No Derek Carr disrespect, but I feel like the Raiders are so god awful this year, and if
the
they're
offense
really bad, the offensive line, they got worse, but I mean it's not terrible, but they have no interior offensive line. Defensive tackles are going to eat Derek Carr alive. And don't forget the defense is terrible. The defense only got worse. They only lost. I guess they gained with Morag, but Morag can't make that much of an impact as a rookie in the secondary. They never do. They never will. Jalen Ramsey was the slight exception because Jalen Ramsey is a generational cornerback prospect.
Yep.
But I mean, if I'm Derek Carr, I'm going to demand out, and I don't want Nathan Peterman starting or Marcus Mariota. No disrespect, but Marcus Mariota will not succeed the Raiders, and he should want out too because he could be a starter for a lot of teams in the NFL right now. So
and Kenyon Drake is just stunning. Jacob's growth.
Kenyon Drake is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
I'm sorry.
He won't win you your fantasy championship like he promised last year. I promise.
He needs
There's
to
no way.
Sweet. I mean, he averaged 4 yards a carry and had 9.
Like he's a decent backup, but he shouldn't be splitting carries with
money that he is.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're going to be like, oh well, he almost had 1,000 yards. Remember, 200 of them are against the Cowboys. Like they don't play the Cowboys. If they play a team with an actual average defense, he has 850 yards minimum, maximum. So I don't know, but I think the Raiders will be bad enough to be picking in the top 3 in draft.
Yeah, I mean,
knowing them,
if you look at their roster,
knowing them, they're drafting Carson Strong in the top 3.
Yeah, if you look at their roster,
I have
it's
Carson
terrible.
Strong going round 1, but I have Carson Strong going round 1. But he does not deserve to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah, they'll will their way to 5 or 6 wins because that's what they always do, even though the roster is always terrible.
It's 2 wins. 2 wins this year. I always say, but it's John Gruden. It's John Gruden though. There might be a chance, or it's. It's Derek Carr. No, I'm not doing it this year. I'm not giving them the playoff treatment. I'm not giving them the decent treatment. I'm over. I'm done with it.
Straight years to him, and I'm giving them 5 wins.
I'm giving them 3 wins max. They're getting swept by their division. Maybe they'll win the Broncos at home, but they're getting swept by the Broncos and Chiefs. Maybe they'll get a win against the Broncos at home, and their out of division schedule is legitimately terrible for them. So
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I like Milton Williams. I think he's a very athletic for his size and the player at the defensive end that he is.
Practice squad player.
Milton Williams.
Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
think
Who that
Milton
is.
Williams.
You would love him in the Texans. He would be like your DT1. So
Hey, we can't give up on Ross
We'll get there.
Blacklock.
We'll get there. And I agree totally with Gainwell. I think, I have questioned the appearance of Jordan Howard in any NFL football game since his debut last year. And I think Gainwell, I mean, I had him as my RB4. I think he's just a great change of pace, very shifty, not too big, but, Boston Scott isn't either if you want to, kind of slip him roll. So, yeah, I like it a lot.
Yep.
And, of course, Zach McPherson. I really don't know what to think about this guy. Half of everybody hates the pick. Half of everybody loves the pick. But, a corner's a corner. And
some people will say you guys reached.
Yep.
Some people will say you guys reached, and then PFF pulls out a stat that he was better in covers last year than Patrick Surtain. So,
Yep.
who are we supposed to believe?
Probably not PFF.
PFF is not as an unreliable NFL.
Especially,
resource.
they've had Jamin Davis at like pick 119 for us. So
yeah, especially when it comes to those grades, because if you really want to go based on draft grades, not draft grades, just player grades, they had Bradley Roby higher, 10% higher than Darius Slay.
Well, Darius Slay was not good last year, but
I know Bradley Roby.
is.
Yeah, Bradley Roby had the best season in his career last year. I think he's the I guess outside of Desmond King now, he's the only slightly above average corner on the Texans. If you're not, I'll just give it average. Just give it average corner. Desmond King's above average though. His career's not.
We want to transition with that.
All right, so these guys were lucky enough to get a first-round pick. We did not have a first-round pick. We did not have a second-round pick. We didn't have a seventh-round. We didn't have a fourth-round pick. We didn't have a seventh-round pick. So the Texans had a solid 5 draft picks. The first 3 were great. Not great, but they were good compared to what my standards were for this team. I swore we were going to draft Newman at 67. The 4th pick that we had is fine. And then the 5th pick, we'll never see the field. Practice squad at best. But Davis Mills, I'll save that for the end. Nico Collins at 89. We gave up a little much to trade up for him, in my opinion, but I still think he's going to be a solid 800-yard receiver for us. As Brandon Cooks is obviously a wide receiver 1, and we'll get a bulk of the 1,000 receiving yards he will get, depending on the quarterback play. But Nico Collins will definitely be a good wide receiver 2. And Randall Cobb in the slot is whatever, at least to take experience. Who cares? Brevin Jordan in round 5.
He was screaming when you got him.
That's the happiest I've ever seen you.
I don't know how Freiermuth went before. I'll say I can't say it in front of Adam ever because he'll get mad. I don't know how Freiermuth went before Brevin Jordan. I don't know how that one dude from Iowa went before Brevin Jordan.
Tommy Tremble, Hunter Long.
Tommy Tremble, Hunter Long, Trey McKinney all went before Brevin Jordan. I think
Tremble has an argument, but that's about it.
Tremble had 100 yards last year. I got pulled. No, I have.
Is Tremble the Boston College one?
Tremble is Notre Dame.
I'm talking about the Boston College one.
That's Hunter Long, I think. I think it's Hunter Long.
Yeah.
He had 19 receptions for 218 yards in 2020. And then Hunter Long. And Tremble isn't even a good blocker. I mean, neither is Hunter Long, but he's a good receiver, so it's okay. But what's his name? Brevin Jordan is a really good blocker. He's huge. I don't know his exact height and weight, but he's like a huge dude. It's like looking up at Dwight Howard. It's like, oh god. Yeah, he's 6'4", 250. I don't really want to not as tall as Dwight Howard, but it's like, yeah, he had 105 receptions for 1,350 yards in 2.5 years at Miami, and 2018 and 2019 is with extremely quarterback play. A mix of Tate Martell and whatever 2019 was for Miami.
Didn't play that much. Come on now.
He played a little bit.
He played
but then they transitioned between I don't even remember who started last year for Miami. They at some point Nakazi Perry was starting. So I don't know if you know, but he is a 2-star transfer to Florida Atlantic now. So that'll give you something about him. So I think Brevin Jordan, if Davis Mills ends up being at least average, could be a pretty average tight end, which is better than what we have right now, which is Jordan Atkins. Yeah. Garrett Wallow, don't know him. Watch some of his tape after the draft. Solid late round value, will be a good backup linebacker if something ever happens to Zach Cunningham. Defensive tackle Roy Lopez, literally never heard of him. He has like 300 followers on Instagram.
I have more than that.
Practice squad.
I have more than
that. So yeah, the best. And if he ends up being some 6th round steal like Antonio Brown or Tom Brady, hell yeah, let's do it. But here's what everyone's waiting for: Davis Mills. A lot of people know Deshaun Watson's not coming back. It's really just accepted at this point by the Texans franchise. So I think if you take away if we have Deshaun Watson, obviously we have bigger positional needs. But if you take away Deshaun Watson, then we
lose at least 7 wins.
We lose 7 wins without Deshaun Watson, and we lose a lot without Deshaun Watson. And undoubtedly, in my opinion, if we take away Deshaun Watson and we didn't draft Davis Mills, quarterback is the biggest problem on the roster. It's bigger than defensive tackle, and it's bigger than safety.
Yeah.
So drafting Davis Mills was sort of essential at this point, not to go 0-17, or at some point at least is not, because if Tyrod Taylor is bad, it's Ryan Finley. Ryan Finley, and it was Ryan Finley, and Ryan Finley had that one
that one game for the Bengals when Joe Burrow was hurt,
against the Steelers. I don't think that's going to happen more than one time. So this was sort of just like an emergency, our franchise quarterback is leaving us and has some legal issues. We need to do something, or we're not gonna win a game this season. And I don't think, as we sort of accept it in the NFL, I don't think Nick Caserio or David Culley has the mindset of the Texans are gonna be bad this season. I think Nick Caserio signed 35 free agents to try to compete. I think that's what he tried to do, drafting Davis Mills, because he wants to compete regardless if he's going to compete or not, or if he sits behind Tyrod Taylor for a year. And Davis Mills starts next year after he's developed into Tyrod Taylor. And I don't know if it's just coincidence, but the last 2 guys that Tyrod Taylor has developed, one played in the divisional game this season, in an AFC divisional game, and one of them broke the rookie passing record, 2 rookie passing records this year in 15 games, not 16. So it's Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert. I think the Justin Herbert one was obvious, but a lot of people forget Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback for the Browns, like that 3 games, something like that, until he got benched on Monday Night Football against the Jets, and then they finally won a game.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the Davis Mills, is he going to be like some special thing in the NFL? No, he's not at all. Is he going to be an average quarterback? I think who could be the quarterback for the Texans for a little less than a decade, maybe 7 or 8 years, if he's average and is fine. Sure, because if he's average and he's fine and he's applicable at quarterback, I don't think I used that word right, but oh well.
Right.
I don't. Okay.
Right.
If he is, then next year in the draft, if we're all right, there's going to be going into a draft, there will always be generational quarterback prospects, or not generational. There will always be amazing quarterback prospects, and the next year there is Sam Howell and Spencer Rattler, but if they don't decide not to go quarterback and Davis Mills is terrible next year too, Bryce Young and DJ Uiagalelei are sitting at 1 and 2 the year later.
Well, here's my thing though, bro. Here's my thing. So if Deshaun Watson's gone, yes, you are committing yourself to a full rebuild. That's just the reality of your roster.
I know, but
I know you can build pieces around it, but your whole thing this offseason, I feel like for me, was to get and gain the pieces around Deshaun Watson, quote unquote, or Deshaun Watson's replacement, so that when 2022 comes and that draft shows up and you have the assets and the potential to be able to do something, and Tyrod Taylor being that bridge so that you're still able to lose games and, balance that out. But for me, taking Davis Mills kind of defeats the whole point of that. I had him as the 7th quarterback on my board.
Okay, you could say he's the 7th quarterback on the board, but this year's a little different. It's sort of like 20. It's like sort of having Lamar Jackson as your QB5 2 years ago.
He's not Lamar Jackson, obviously.
I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying it's a generational year. So
yeah, I agree, but I think for the amount of draft capital that you actually had, and to be spending it when the reality is that, in my opinion, that Davis Mills, probably will not be the starting quarterback of the 2022 Houston Texans if you have a top 5 pick and the potential to get Rattler or Howell just with the talents that they are.
Well, I think my thing is, and I think the thought process of our front office too is, if Davis Mills is fine this year, there are bigger holes in the roster, including the secondary and the defensive line. Now,
yes, but those are holes that could be addressed, with that.
I'm saying at pick 67, what good is a corner going to do for you for 5 years?
Alicia Molden was,
I know, but I'm saying if you look at players like Jeff Okudah, you look at players like C.J. Henderson, you look at players like even Damon Arnett. Who was some corners in the 2019 class?
Trayvon Diggs.
If you look at Trayvon Diggs,
AJ Terrell,
it takes forever
to develop over time, and you have the time. That's what your franchise has. It's the one thing that you have is time.
Yeah, well, I think if you also look at it the way I'm looking at it, Davis Mills is like you're gonna roast me, but please let me explain. Davis Mills is a good quarterback. Davis Mills was a 5-star recruit out of college for a reason. Davis Mills tore his ACL, which definitely put a dent in his game. I will 100% admit it. I will 100% agree with you on it. But Davis Mills also is a solid player in college. He has the potential and he has the development, and that's what I think. That's what I think Caserio and Coley and the rest of the front office are looking at. They're looking at, all right, we have time, so let's use this time to develop this quarterback that we. Davis Mills has the potential to be a solid, not amazing, but solid NFL quarterback. He could be. And the reality is anybody who comes to the NFL could be a solid quarterback.
See, but
mostly anybody. Now, if Davis Mills is fine and can function as the starting quarterback, now you look at the defensive line. Now you look at the secondary. Be like, okay, we have this guy. We're going to be back for a couple of years. We know we're going to be back for a couple of years. If I don't think Caserio thinks we're going to be bad this year, but once we are bad this year, he's going to have the mindset, okay, we have holes in the secondary. We have holes in the D-line. We have this guy, Davis Mills, who started a couple games this year. Wasn't bad. We can develop him. That's what time is for, people need time to develop. Look at Tua. Coming off the injuries, he needs time to develop. Look at Josh Allen. Perfect example of development, just giving time. Look what he's turned into, right? So I think he wants to give Davis Mills time to develop because we're probably gonna be bad. If we're bad this year, then we're gonna want to give Davis Mills time to develop and then if you look at the secondary and you look at the defensive line, you look at if we have a top 5 pick next year, which most likely will. Now you see Kyle Hamilton. Now you see Kayvon Thibodeau. You see Derek Stingley. You see DeMarvin Leal. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. I completely agree. But I'm saying I think that he values what he saw in Davis Mills. And obviously, the front office knows more than we know. There's things that happen in the background, private workout out of any quarterback ever. And nobody knows. You know what I mean? So you also have to think that, maybe the team knows what it's doing and the people know what they're doing. So if we're going to look at the glaring holes on the defense, I think that we just want this quarter. We want Davis Mills to develop over time while we get holes to fix the rest. And by the time Davis Mills, maybe by his like end of his second, start of his third year, when he like starts to get more above average, that's when the team's going to start to take off. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I don't think he just walked in and this had this without a plan.
Yeah.
I think there's a plan for him. I don't think we're going to draft a quarterback next year. And if it's a worst case scenario, the rebuild lasts next year, Bryce Young or DJ Uihlein.
Yeah.
Or Grayson McCall from Coast to Coast.
I think for me, I see it as what I call the Deshaun Kaiser plan. And
yeah, I think he's a band-aid for a first-round quarterback, which is fine. Give him, I think 2 years is probably
I don't think even Cleveland anticipated Deshaun Kaiser to be as terrible as he was. I don't think you can tell me that Cleveland.
A lot of people thought it was going to be the shit, and it was
not. To be honest, outside of the first, I watched like the Cal game and I think the Washington State game, and that's it. So I haven't watched enough Davis Mills tape to completely discern, every single habit of his.
That's the problem with him. That's one problem there actually is with him. There isn't a lot of tape because he's hasn't played a lot. He tore his ACL's freshman year in camp, ended up coming back halfway through his sophomore year. Well, not halfway, but like midway, sometime between his sophomore year, and he was doing really well. And then he had the Corona 6-game season. So, he has now a lot of time in college to play, which is a problem in my opinion. But I feel like in the NFL, we have Tyrod Taylor. I just feel like we have a plan. Yeah. I don't think we just drafted him. I don't think we drafted him over Elijah Molden just to, oh my God, Deshaun's gone. We need to draft a guy. I feel like our GM, who signed 35 free agents, is smarter than that. That's just my opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'm glad to admit I'm wrong.
We shall see. Moving on.
Also, real quickly, just Texans coming closer to deal to sign Clinton Dix, which makes me very happy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
a player.
It's a player.
It's an average safety.
It's an average safety. Yeah,
fine with me.
That's something you need. That is something you need. That is
better than Eric Murray. If you want to go based off Adams' PFF grades, he loves those. Tough. They're green. He had an 80. He had an 80.
How did?
Yeah, haha. Oh, wait, no, that's 2018. 2020 didn't play. He opted out. 2019, 75, which is green. So, I'm guessing that's good. So, whatever. If you want to go based on what you want to go off of, I'm just saying.
That's fair. So, to transition, there were a lot of good drafts this year. There were a lot of not so great drafts this year. And figured just go off everybody, your favorite and your least favorite draft overall.
All right. I'll go with my favorite. I'll go with your favorites, then we'll go to the worst ones. I think this is a consensus number one. At least I think so. The Browns.
Yep.
Let's see. Greg Newsome. They have. They might not be starting Greedy Williams, but still really good value. 26.
Has Greedy Williams?
No clue.
I think Greedy Williams tore his ACL and opted out. I don't think he's played a game.
Yeah.
He could though. He could have. Oh, he played 12 games this year and he was awful.
Okay.
Oh, he had 2 pass deflections.
Wow.
And I at 26, I'm like, they should get this guy, but then they got him in the second round at the 20. I don't know. The picks are weird in the second round, like 20. I'm guessing 26.
52, I think.
Yeah, JOK, my guy. Adam loves this. He's my linebacker 1B to Michael 1A.
Yep.
And Anthony Schwartz on third round's cool. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones a little more, but might as well get receiver depth while you can.
Yeah.
And Tommy Togiai, you need some IDL help because you lost Sheldon Richardson, so.
Yep. And can play. Really need.
Yeah, you can't get better than that. It's like perfect.
So my favorite draft was the Kansas City Chiefs. And I had a tough time between them and their AFC West neighbors, the Los Angeles Chargers. I guess not really neighbors. The NFL doing these divisions is so weird. But the Kansas City Chiefs had a fantastic draft, taking Ethan's favorite prospect, Creed Humphrey.
He is quote unquote, yeah, him and JOK are my guys.
Yo,
I should like, yeah, every year I should have an article about
And Tevin Jenkins.
my guys. Yeah, Tevin Jenkins is one of my guys. Fields is one of my guys.
Mike just Jones.
Jamar Johnson was one of my
What'd you say about
guys.
Mac Jones?
I said Mac
say?
Jones is your guy.
Oh no, Mac Jones is very much so not my guy.
Yeah, I had a lot of guys this year, and
Yeah.
the Chiefs went crazy. So I mean, Nick
They did.
Bolton's cool. I'm not gonna name guys for you, but Nick Bolton's cool.
He's my linebacker 3, or I think my linebacker 3.
Yeah.
Trey Smith, the value in the 6th round,
insane.
You know, because of was it an illness or an injury? I forget.
Medical. I think that's the same thing with JOK, but I obviously would have been a first round pick. But
yeah,
but JOK. But Trey, I don't know.
Second,
he should have been like a
I
think he had like a early second grade on him.
Yeah, and then Cornell Powell,
yeah.
actually Mike's favorite player in this draft.
Mike's favorite player in the draft.
You know, great value in the 5th round.
Amazing
guy
value.
Who I had like a 3rd round grade on. So just overall, with the amount of ammunition that the Chiefs had, after trading for Orlando Brown, we forget about this.
And getting a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
And getting a 2nd round pick for
top 10, 15 tackle in the league.
Yeah.
Just a spectacular draft. And, I mean, you know, Tampa Bay should be scared. That's
because they had a draft. Definitely had a draft with Kyle Trask.
Yep. Cleveland should not be scared because Cleveland's better.
All right,
just say your favorite draft, please.
My favorite draft is the Bears. Sort of a cop out. They have the best draft in my opinion, outside of the Browns, obviously. Trading up to get Justin Fields was great because Andy Dalton is miserable, and anybody. I mean, he's not miserable. He's fine, but
he's probably
getting
doing
that
okay.
point. And literally Matt Nagy and whatever I don't know the GM. I forget the GM.
Ryan Pace
and Ryan Pace are like banking on this guy to like. We're either going to bank on Andy Dalton to save their jobs or Felipe Franks.
Which is a very, very bad idea.
I don't think they wanted that. So getting Justin Fields was great, and then Tevin Jenkins in round 2.
Ridiculous.
Amazing. Tevin Jenkins was better.
He's a monster.
Tevin Jenkins was
probably like my tackle 3 or 4.
Tackle 3 inside of the obvious penny of Rashawn Slater, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of them. I'm so happy that they got him. And I have no idea who Larry Barome is from Missouri, but
he's another lineman.
He's a
tackle, but he's a tackle. So anything to help that offensive line. And then Khalil Herbert, round 6.
Hey,
yeah, that
sounds fire.
I like Khalil Herbert. And then Daz Newsome 4 picks later. I like Daz Newsome.
Daz Newsome's cool.
Yeah.
And then Thomas Graham Jr. I like Thomas Graham. He had like 8 picks at Oregon. I'm not getting my information. Also, just because Adam said something, Felipe Franks is better than Mac Jones. Just because Adam said something.
Okay. That's a great take.
Least favorite. Here we go. I mean, they always do some dumb stuff. This isn't the Seahawks. I mean, someone might have picked Seahawks, I don't know. But the Rams. I mean, they traded their first and another first. Yeah, they traded this first, I think, is the last one from Jacksonville. And their next few are going to the Lions. But they got Tutu, also known as Chateri Atwell, at 57. He's 5'9". He's a short guy. I mean, he's a deep threat. He's just a younger, kind of worse version of Deshaun Jackson, who they signed. They didn't need a receiver at all. They needed help on the O-line. They might have needed some help in the secondary to replace Troy Hill. Maybe some D-line help D-line help for Michael Rockers. But no, let's get a 5'9" receiver who maybe should have won in the 3rd round. Maybe. And then
I think at this point, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think Sean McVay doesn't need draft picks. Who cares?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Sean McVay's just having fun at this point. He's like, you know what? I like the name Tutu. Welcome to the Rams. He's fine with the roster he has. He makes it work. He took Jared Goff to a Super Bowl. I'm not concerned with and just because it's Sean McVay and what Sean McVay showed me what to do, I don't think the Rams. This is the only reason I didn't pick the Rams, and because Ahu took it first. But I wasn't planning on taking the Rams because I know Sean McVay. I don't think Sean McVay's ever had a first round pick in his tenure with the Rams. Jared Goff, obviously. Jared Goff.
Well, yeah.
Outside of Jared Goff.
Yeah, next year. That was when they got Ramsey.
Yeah.
How many did they get? They got 2 or 3.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the same draft as. Yeah, but he was the same draft as Goff, so I don't know what happened. It was 2018.
Jared Goff was in 2016. They didn't draft Jameer. What's his name though? They didn't draft Ramsey. They traded for Ramsey.
Yeah, but that was the same draft class as Jared Goff.
2017 was the pick Tennessee had that they traded, but they traded for Jared Goff. They traded their 2018 pick to New England for Brandon Cooks. Traded their pick to Atlanta in 2019 for Dante Fowler.
Yeah.
And then 2020 and 2021, Jalen Ramsey. 2022 and 2023, Matthew Stafford.
Just not good at all. I mean, Matt Stafford's cool, but you don't need to trade 2 first-round picks to get away from Jared Goff. That's all I'm saying. Especially
anything to get rid of Jared Goff.
Yeah. But,
terrible quarterback.
Okay, 3rd round, Ernest Jones. I was proud of doing a lot of pre-draft research, and I maybe know one of their picks for the rest of this entire draft. Like Jacob Harris, like I seen backup tight end, buddy. Robert Rochelle needed some secondary help, but you could have addressed it earlier than the 4th round because they're doing it earlier 3rd.
Like corner.
Yeah, I don't think he can. And then you got a lot of DL for no reason. I mean, I guess you could have some guys other than Aaron Donald on the team. Jake Funk in round 7. Incredible pick.
Jake Funk?
Jake Funk and Tutu. They're great names.
Steven.
And then receiver Ben not even going to try. Skowronek.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I mean, I don't think I can name a single good pick in this class. Like, maybe these guys will be cool depth guys.
Don't for the case of Tutu Atwell becomes the greatest receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Shut up, invasion idiot. What are they doing?
Never know.
Yeah, I'll eat my words. But for now, this is D- if I'm giving a grade. Draft grades are pretty dumb because they're arbitrary and like.
Tutu Atwell is like the best Tyreek Hill comparison draft.
And they did it too. They were showing Tyreek Hill tape on day 3.
If a player is fast, then they are Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Yep.
If a player is fast, they are Tyreek Hill or John Ross. Remember? Where are they now? John Ross is the 5th string receiver on the Giants, and Henry Ruggs barely saw the field last season.
Yeah. So I would give it an F if I felt like it, but I'll be nice. So yeah, the Rams just. Please just be good with. Please don't waste Matt Stafford. That's my guy. But you're not helping him at all with all these. You had 4 firsts. You have 4 fourths. You don't have 4 firsts because obviously not. But yeah, they forgot the value existed and got speed demon receiver with glaring holes in the offensive line, defensive line, secondary. And running back, not really. You have Cam Akers, but linebacker is bad. Safety, you lost John Johnson. I don't think Taylor Rapp is your safety one on a playoff team, but
yeah.
All right, so my least favorite draft was the Seattle Seahawks. Dwayne Eskridge.
No.
To say the least.
No. You got him in the second round. He could have gone early 3rd.
Yeah,
and the only reason it's a terrible pick is because they had no need for a receiver.
Trey Brown is horrific in any kind of zone coverage for the Oklahoma Sooners. So although he is a solid man coverage corner, I don't know. And then finally they took a left tackle. And once we got down to the 6th round,
Stone Forsyth?
Forsyth, yes, Forsyth. I have never heard of this man in my life, so I have no idea how to grade it. But generally, 6th round left tackles aren't something that works out.
Jordan Mailata.
So yep, Jordan Mailata, that's fair. But Jordan Mailata was also a rugby god. So
Yeah.
Thomas Brady.
Mills. But all you, least favorite.
The guy, my least favorite. The Dallas Cowboys. They drafted Micah Parsons in the 1st round. You reach for a linebacker you didn't need.
Who's not good. He's terrible in coverage. He's just not
terrible coverage.
He should be like an outside linebacker, make Sam or edge. But he can't cover. He's Blake Martinez reincarnated.
But if you look.
But look at the upside.
Look
at the upside that we have.
Guy who hasn't, while he does not have the coverage experience, with just 1 year of playing the linebacker position, is one of the best pure edge rusher prospects of the past 10 years at that position.
It doesn't even matter. They didn't even need a linebacker. They don't need an edge rusher. They need a corner.
That pass rush does need help. That pass rush
doesn't.
Yes, it does.
They have to Marcus Lawrence.
That pass rush does need help with the amount of pressure.
Trayvon Diggs can't play.
They were bottom in the
CB1 right now.
They should have traded down in that spot because they wanted Surtain. They wanted.
Should have traded down and got
Deshaun.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he's fine.
They could have traded down and got Newsom. I agree, but I don't like it.
2nd round, Kelvin Joseph. My opinion,
He's a corner.
Solid.
My opinion, very underrated corner, in my opinion. I think a lot of people just see Kentucky and they're like, nope.
Basketball.
But, basketball. But I don't know. Unrelated, but Kentucky's gonna have a really good football team this year. But that's unrelated. Kelvin Joseph is a great corner. And then Jabril Cox in the 4th round, great value. And now we talk about everything else. 4th round, Oza Idewujugwa from UCLA, defensive tackle.
Cool.
Another 3rd round pick, Chauncey Golston, defensive end, Iowa. Round 3, pick 99, Deshaun Wright, defensive back, Oregon State. Round 4, pick 138, Josh Ball, tackle, Marshall. Believe it or not, I actually heard of that guy before the draft. No. Now you go 5th round pick, Simi Feheko from Stanford, Quentin Bahama, Israel Mukamu, and Matt Farriok. Good Lord. I studied 230 players before this draft. I can only name. All right. And now we cut back in. Cowboys draft grade D-1/2.
Yeah.
Right. So are we going into the one thing we like apples.
One like our games of the year.
Our games.
NFL schedule completely out now. Announced, and we're pretty hyped. We all already did our predictions. I'm sure they will be changed throughout, so we'll give those in August. But to hold over until then, I thought we should just go around and all give our best games of the year, what we think will be the best game. And so, let's get into it.
Browns Chiefs.
Bills Chiefs. Yeah, this is a very hot take. The Bills and the Chiefs will be a good game.
Yeah, the Browns Chiefs, the rematch from Believeland last year,
Yeah.
I got that off the dome, Believeland. I had that right off the head.
Both will be incredible. I mean, obviously to watch that Kansas City offense be as explosive as it is, to see it go against 2 AFC contenders who are probably the most talented that they're going to face, going into this year, that they have faced ever in that division.
If anybody cares, my honorable mention was Jets versus Texans. So.
Tank Bowl. Why not? So my game is going to be Niners Packers. I think not only because of the matchup, but because of the Aaron Rodgers rumors that occurred previously beforehand, the tension that could occur, and just because, again, 2 years ago, this is a Niners team that whooped them in the NFC Championship game, and I don't know if they've fully even recovered now since that game. I think there are still ramifications in that locker room. So,
and the only thing that's going to be different this year is that they're going to whoop them with Jordan Love starting at quarterback, or Blake Bortles. Jordan Love just got awful.
Jordan Love is starting at quarterback. We take that game completely off the schedule. We haven't even talked about that yet. We didn't even get to that. Aaron Rodgers.
We have no idea. He's probably staying, or he's going to stay.
Aaron Rodgers, Denver Bronco, and what's his name? Jordan Love will be Deshaun Kai's. No, I'm just kidding. Who had a really bad rookie season? Jordan Love's gonna be terrible in my opinion. At least I could be wrong.
Josh Allen.
Patrick Mahomes.
Just so inconsistent.
Rookie Josh Allen. First 2 years, Josh Allen. One game he'll throw for 400 yards, and then the next game he'll throw 4 interceptions against the Dolphins. You don't know what you're going to get. Inconsistency.
Yep. That's fair. I mean, I still think Aaron Rodgers, with Devontae Adams and both of their contracts expiring at the end of the year, I think both of them will be gone next year, which will certainly be a devastating blow to that Packers organization. But I do feel like Aaron Rodgers will remain a Green Bay Packer throughout the year, just with the reports that he did not put out the rumor and is actively denying so. I just feel like, it's different from the Deshaun Watson and maybe.
I think he was denying it so he wouldn't get bothered at the Kentucky Derby.
Maybe.
He was there. Yeah. He was dripped up.
He was dripped up.
Also, Devontae Adams, Baltimore Ravens, 2022-2023.
Devontae Adams, Indianapolis Colts, 2022.
Well, the Ravens have to pay Lamar, so I don't
know. No, they'll have it. They'll be the year before they have to pay him. It'll be the end of Lamar's 4th year. Next year.
Well, they're picking up the option
pick up
this
the 5th year. So they'll have a year. They'll have another year before they have to pay him.
They'll have to tag him because there's no way
they don't have anybody huge. They don't have anybody huge under contract right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because you have to trade Orlando Brown. So, we'll see. I don't know.
So, I mean, if you just give 2 big contracts, the Chiefs literally gave out a $500 contract to Patrick Mahomes. So,
all right. So, I think that's all we got. I think we've covered our general NFL basis. We'll be back with more NBA, of course, as the playoffs and the play-in both approach. And, going to be back here more often. Try not to have these massive breaks, but we hope you enjoy this one, and we're officially back.
Yeah, that's it.
Miami. Yep. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back, and as always, fire Harry Roseman.
Don't fire Harry Roseman.